Hey everybody, it's Paul from Alexander Knife Sharpening and Laser Engraving. I had a client reach out to me, a pretty good client who comes in regularly to get knives engraved, and he needed a gift for his father's birthday, and he wanted something kind of special. He wanted a coin made because they have kind of an inside joke in their family. If they had a family crest, this is what it would look like, and each one of the things in there signify different things to each one of the kids. And he said, could you make this for me on a coin? Now, I don't make a ton of coins because of the amount of time they take. I only have a 20-watt fiber laser. And to make a coin for me generally takes about 5 hours. So it's something I do, but it's definitely not, I wouldn't take an order for someone who wanted like 1,000 coins. I would definitely send them somewhere else. But I'm totally fine with like a small order if someone needed like one or two coins for something. A real popular one is for championships of fantasy football or fantasy sports to give the winner a coin. And those are kind of like the little one-off coins that I'll do. I don't do mass production of coins, but this is the coin I had to make. And the problem I was having, I was using the xTool software, which will make a depth map for you, but it was making the outer edges of the coin where the snake was not really great. It was really blurry, and I just wasn't happy with it. I went online and I was like, you know what? There's people out here that know this way better than me. I know my boy Justin Laser, his channel has done plenty on coins, and he makes some really awesome coins. So I immediately went over to his site and followed his instructions. But the main thing that I found there was a much better depth map maker, which is what I then used and ended up getting far better results. So let me show you what the first test coin came out looking like. So here was the first mock-up of the coin, and you can see you can't even tell that that outside edge is a snake. We lost all the detail there. Now, granted, the other thing I would have done if I was making this coin myself, I would have pulled those oars back into the center of the coin so they weren't sticking out so much, so we could go all the way to the end. But this was a rush job. It had to be completed right away. So I didn't have a whole lot of time to do a lot of editing. I just needed to get it done. So after going to Justin's website, I found out about Sculpt OK. And it actually was free for me to use and make this coin. But this is the depth map it made me. And you can see this looks great. We have all the definition there. You can tell it's a snake. You can see the eyes in it. It's just not that blurry kind of mush that we were getting towards the end of the coin. It was super easy to use, and it gave me this just perfect depth map. So I was able to remake the coin. Now, like I said, if I had had more time, I would have pulled those oars back in. I would have made it all round so I could have pushed it all the way out to the edge of the coin. But my client was really happy with it. And let me show you what the updated coin looked like after I used the Sculpt OK depth map maker for coins. Came out far better. So again, this took 5 hours to make, but you can see now we can at least see all the detail. We can see it was a snake and it looks really good. You can even see the little coins that were in the treasure chest down there. Really happy with it. The only thing like I said, I would have changed was I would have pulled those oars in so they were in a lower part of the coin and pushed everything out further. When I like to do coins, I generally like to make sure that everything is contained within a circle. So here you can see the laser making the coin. And like I said, it's a long process on a 20-watt laser, about 5 hours for me to do this. So if you have a much more powerful laser, you can cut that time down significantly. It's just cutting each one of the layers. And I think this one was like 270 some layers. Another thing that's interesting is that my two 20-watt lasers actually have a different reaction when they make coins. Now, the ones that come off of my xTool F1 tend to come out pretty black, like you can see here. And that's why I'm using this here. This is a magnetic polisher. And I just dropped the coin in here. It's got little tiny steel needles inside there, which kind of bang into all the little nooks and crannies and crevices on the coin and clean it out. And I ran it for about 20 minutes, and you'll be amazed when it comes out. It looks like a brand new minted coin that came right from the mint. It just cleans all that stuff out, and you'll see the change in the water immediately. Within a few minutes, it gets dark and kind of gets all that crud off of the coin from the laser burning it for so long. And that's how it will eventually come out of here. It will look like it just came from the mint. It'll be super well polished. But see all the dirty looking dirt in there already? Just from starting to clean that coin. All right, I'll show you in a few minutes when it's done. Another thing I showed my client was on the mock-up coins. I showed him how we can add patina back to a coin, and some people like that look. So some people like the look that it came like it looks like it's freshly minted and never been touched. Other people like the look that the coin has some age to it, like it's been circulated and used. And we can use a product called brass blacken to add that patina back in. And here you can see this coin's been blackened a bit. Now, also, again, this was the mock-up coin. It didn't look quite as good as the coin that ended up being the final product, but this was just to give him an example of what I can do adding some patina back to a coin. Now, the nice thing about adding the patina too, it also gives it some contrast and gives it more depth, adding that patina in. Pretty easy to do. You just use a Q-tip and it starts to add it right back into the coin. Originally, he wanted to get a bunch of coins, I guess, to give out to everybody at the party, but just wasn't feasible at 5 hours to make one coin. But I showed him some other products, and he really liked the coasters, so we ended up doing 2 sets of coasters. We did some pine coasters, and we did some slate coasters, and they came out really nice. So many times when a client comes in, I will make a mock-up of something or make them an actual single engraving on a coaster or some other item, and you'd be amazed how many times that gets you another order. So just showing my bottle opener business cards that I give out all the time just got me an order from the person that ordered the sailing knives. Now he wants 30 bottle openers. So make sure you show people what you do, and don't be afraid to make a mock-up, especially if it doesn't cost you a whole lot of money. That little bit you might spend to make them one will give them ideas, and they might decide to buy more. Also, for really great return clients, I will try and price things really reasonably. So my charge for 8 coasters and the coin was $65, and my client gave me a $40 tip. So that was really nice of him, and that happens quite a bit. Treating all your customers well is always a good idea. Going out of your way for your best customers usually pays off. I'll leave a link in the description to all the things in this video, the polisher that I use, the laser I use, the coins that I purchased, and anything that I can think of that will be relevant to this video. Have a great day, everybody, and thanks for checking it out.